Hey there, welcome and good morning to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, everything is looking pretty good this morning. As we get started, this is a full week, the first full week of 2026. And I'm looking at the S&P 500 futures, and I can see that we are already positive, up 0.28%. The market is retreating a little bit after having tested our resistance, which is at 6,928 or 6,929, somewhere in that range, and then it got pushed back. So that's going to be the resistance for today, and our support for today is going to be at 6,859, which I'm going to go ahead and mark as green. Our next resistance for today is likely to come up at around 6,982.50. So if we break out of this initial resistance at 6,930, we are going to be potentially going all the way up to 6,982 or 6,983, somewhere in that range, because as you can see, all these three candles are capped off exactly at that spot. Hi, hot dog, welcome. So that's the range for today. Now let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is still in that, in my opinion, head and shoulder pattern. It's improved a little bit out here this morning. It's up 0.64%. In pre-market trades, market sentiment is bearish. MACD is still bearish. Momentum is just at average. We'll have to see how this proceeds. But as I mentioned in the Substack, I think that my conclusion for at least the near future is going to be rely less on fundamentals and more on technicals, and keep my trades to a time frame of at the most 4 days, because I think that as long as the Epstein file doesn't die out, we are going to have a lot of distractions. And if you look at what happened in the last 12 months with regard to the US markets, if any sector of the market was going down, there was always a catalyst that came up and prevented the markets from going down. Price to earnings are quite elevated, and I'm thinking that the same thing will continue until the end of this term, probably with the Trump self-pardon or something like that, because the existing institutions, whether it is political setup or whether it is the judiciary or SEC, none of them seem to be capable of containing anything. At least there is no evidence so far that anything can be contained. So there will be a lot of volatility this year in terms of geopolitics and politics, but I predict that none of that is going to impact the stock market. At the worst, the stock market may consolidate, but I don't think it's due to drop anytime soon. But that prediction window is just 4 days forward, moving 4 days at a time. That's the way I'm viewing this. If you guys have any feedback, please let me know in the chat section so that I can consider that as well. If you look at the dollar index, it is picking up. There's going to be a lot of money taken out of Venezuela, and it will go into the US treasuries. And definitely that's a really big positive for dollar index. And remember, Venezuela is an oil-rich country, so lots of oil can be taken from there, and that's definitely going to flow into the US side. Now, if you look at the VIX, it is elevated. VIX is up 4.34%. It's picking up. Earlier in the morning, it was much higher, but it has come down a little bit. It's kind of a doji candle out there. And if you look at gold, it's already picked up 1.93% back into the bullish channel that it was traveling in for the longest time. And we have a resistance for gold today at around 4,544.80. So even if the stock market does not show too much of volatility, there is going to be geopolitical players like sovereign wealth funds and all, who might probably park money into gold if they don't want to look at a very short-term window of trading, because these sovereign wealth funds are looking at long-term perspective. So look at gold, and also look at US credit rating and those kind of things going forward, maybe somewhere around June or July. Now, this is the setup for the morning. The put call ratio is looking mildly bullish, and I'm looking at the 10-year yield, and you can see that the 10-year yield has dropped a little, and we have support at 4.16. This 10-year yield dropping could probably be a signal that US may get fund infusion, maybe from Venezuela. That's very simplistic thinking. But I can't stop myself from thinking that if the US has its hands on the largest oil reserves in the world, why would they not take the oil? That could actually potentially improve the fiscal position of United States, and therefore the bond yields can start going down. Japanese yield, on the other hand, is continuing to go up. There is a higher probability to break out on the upside. It's already met our target of 2.13. As you can see, this is a bearish candle. It went up and it came down again, but we have the rest of the day to see what happens. And you can see that we are already high on the RSI, plenty of room for us to catch up out there. Market sentiment, which was bullish, was tapering, but it has kind of plateaued a little bit, and whatever was bearish is starting to improve a little bit. If I look at the color of the histogram out here, you can't see it in your screens, so I'm predicting that your Japanese 10-year yields are going to consolidate at a higher level at this point of time, and unless we have other chart patterns, we can't predict what is going to happen. But the bull flags have been exhausted. We need new patterns to tell us where it will go. And USD JPY, we are seeing that there is a little bit of sideways trading out here, a consolidation happening, no clear pattern as such. And we can see that the bearishness has reduced in the MACD, and we also had bearishness in the market sentiment, which is also kind of remaining steady. And the consolidation that was happening continues with a little bit of a bearish bias, but above average momentum. So there is no clear direction for the USD JPY pair at this point of time. But as the US dollar gets stronger, I think JPY will look relatively a little bit weak, except for the fact that yields are continuing to go up. So with that, my friends, let's go and have a very quick look at what's happening with our indices themselves, put some resistance and support levels. So we're going to get some support today at around 6,849, and then we're going to get some resistance today, I suspect, at around 6,899.43 for S&P 500. Market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, momentum is just above average, and we continue to travel within the parallel channel. And if you look at NASDAQ seems to be having a support of 25,193.25, and it could enter into a resistance of 25,623.48. Market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, momentum is below average, and we still have the head and shoulders, I think, to a certain extent intact, assuming this to be a shoulder, this to be a head, and this to be the second shoulder. So that way it looks okay. But let us see where the market takes us today. And QQQ will give us an idea of what's happening in the pre-market session. Pre-market, we are up 0.64%. We still continue to have a support at 613.73, and we continue to have a resistance at 623.65. Pre-market, we are at 617.03. Market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish, momentum below average. And let's go on and have a look at AI. The main suspects, the usual suspects. NVDA is up 1.43% in pre-market trades, definitely looking at a resistance at 192.71. This candle that we have in the past is a bearish candle from the last trading day. So we have to clear out 192.86, which is likely to be a resistance for us. Once we clear this out, the next resistance is going to be at 195.93, and support definitely is available at 183.71. Market sentiment bullish, MACD is bullish, momentum is above average, plenty of room on the RSI. Everything is looking great out there. Meta continues to show weakness. Meta has fallen below the support of 651.94. Pre-market, we are down 0.16%. We are at 649.90. So we the initial downtrend that I had seen there, I attributed it to being filling the gap up. Now that has already happened, so I'm starting to get a bit worried about Meta, and the only thing that is keeping me going is the fact that market sentiment is bullish, MACD is still bullish, and momentum unfortunately has fallen below average. So I got to think about maybe selling off Meta and limiting my losses. And then we look at Google, which is up 0.17% in pre-market trade. We're going to continue to get our support at 308.59 today, and potentially we have a resistance at 323.00. Market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish, but momentum still remains above average. Amazon is up 0.33% in pre-market trades. We're going to get good support at 223.30. We'd potentially get a resistance at 231.34, and we have Apple, which is down 0.32% in pre-market trade. We have a resistance out here, which is going to show a resistance at around, I would say, 273.39. Pre-market, we are at 270.19. So I think our support best case is going to be 267.22 for today. Microsoft is fluctuating between positive and negative and almost neutral, and at this point of time I think we have a support at 472.98, and we are just on top of the support, so it's not clear which way we are going, but broad guidance would be that on the top we have a resistance of 483.64, on the bottom we have a support of 472.88. And right now we have got very strong support at 472.85 because it's an intersection of this horizontal line of support and the middle point of this parallel channel. So a sideways movement out there. If you look for guidance with the market sentiment, it's almost neutral, it's come down. And if you look at guidance on MACD, it's also neutral, it's on top of the signal line. And if you look for guidance on the momentum, it's below average, and that's the only bearish aspect that I see out there, apart from the fact that we are in a bear channel. Now let's go to Tesla. Tesla is up 1.58% in pre-market trades, resistance at 455.49, and support is going to be at around 438.50. Market sentiment bearish, MACD bearish, momentum below average. Oracle is up 2.04% in pre-market trades. We'll get support at 196.39. Right now we are at 199.71. And if I was to pull this parallel channel down further, then I would say that we would get a resistance today somewhere around 205.02 if we go for the full potential. Otherwise, we have a resistance at 201.76. Next, let's look at AMD. AMD is up 2.94% in pre-market trades. We have very good support at 219.94. We had a reverse head and shoulder, reverse cup and handle pattern, and I think that reverse cup and handle pattern is kind of disappearing with every passing day. We have a resistance at 236.87. Market sentiment, which was bearish, is coming towards neutral. MACD is bullish. Momentum has turned above average. So I'm going to sell off my AMDD and book my losses. We are early in the year. I can stop taking any more losses. SMCI is up 1.74% in pre-market trade. It should get resistance today at around 32.83, and it will get support at around 29.72. Market sentiment bearish but tending towards neutral. MACD is bullish. Momentum is above average, but momentum is below average, but it's picking up. So I don't have any clear verdict for SMCI. I have SMCZ. I'm holding on to it at this point of time because momentum is still below average. If there is positive in SMCZ, if I have some profits there, I would take the opportunity to book it. But if I'm in loss, I'll hold on to it for the time being. We have Broadcom, which is up 1.78% in pre-market trades. The last candle we had was a very bearish candle, and our support today is going to be somewhere around 347.91. Right now we are at 354.13. Our resistance is going to be at 362.15. Palantir is up 3.59%, a very smart recovery. Resistance at 181.45. And let's look at SMH, which is up 1.99% in pre-market trades. Very smart recovery for SMH, and that's going to reflect on the index as well, and it will push the indices up. Market sentiment is neutral now from bearish. MACD is bullish. Momentum is above average. Plenty of room on the RSI. So everything is looking pretty good out here. Now let's look at Tempus AI, which is up 2.08% in pre-market trades. I think Tempus can probably pick up. Market sentiment is flat and bearish. MACD is improving. Momentum is also improving, but it's still below average. So need a little more time to declare Tempus AI out of risk, because right now everything is pointing towards bearishness. There is no bullish pattern as yet that I can see out here. Now let's move on to genomics and quickly look at the big ones. Pfizer is down 0.32% after a good recovery in the last trading session. We will get support today at 24.97 and resistance today at 25.29. And if you look at Prime is up 2.55% today, and we have this diagonal line of resistance which is now going to be converted into a support. And pre-market we are at 3.62, and our support is going to be 3.54. Very smart recovery in pre-market with a gain of 2.55%. I do not see any news article out there. This is just a positive sentiment. I don't know if it can sustain, but if we close above the 3.53, which was the last trading close, I think then we would have confirmed this diagonal line of support as a support, and then we can build upon that. So with that said, let's look at Intelia. Intelia is up 1.30%. Support continues to be at $9. Right now we are at 9.33. Caribou Biosciences is down 0.63%. I have lost a lot of money on Caribou. We still have support at around 1.50. I have to consider if I want to make a clean start for the year by booking all my losses and see where it goes, especially on non-FNGD. Everything else I should be able to sell and book losses and start with a clean slate for the year. Beam Therapeutics is down 0.18%. It's still in the bull flag. So I still think that we could potentially break out on the upside. Market sentiment is bullish, MACD is bearish, but momentum is still above average, even though it is dropping. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens out here, but resistance is likely to be today at around 27.86 and support likely to be around 26.33. Altimmune is up 14.81% in pre-market trades. There is some news. It has gained breakthrough therapy status for Pemvidutide. I think this is old news. Let me open this up. Yeah, it's a news from 23rd of December. The new news is Altimmune jumps after US FDA's breakthrough tag for liver disease drug. So this is really good, positive for Altimmune. I do have Altimmune. Let me see if it has turned into positive. I don't think so, but I would take any gains that I can get. Resistance is at 4.40 at this point of time. A very good move for Altimmune. And let's look at Editas. Editas is up 0.98% in pre-market trades. Resistance is going to be at 2.10. And market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, everything is bearish for Editas. Illumina is up 0.48% in pre-market trade. Good support is available at 131.46, and we are tracking a target of 151.74. We may get there over a period of time at the rate at which we are going. In the meantime, market sentiment is bearish. MACD, which was bearish, is improving. Momentum is above average and picking up, and there's plenty of room on the RSI. So I see a bullish chart out here. And I'm looking at CRISPR Therapeutics, which is up 0.82%, and we have support at 53.21 for today. And pre-market, we are at 54.21. And I think that we will have some resistance at 54.65. Market sentiment is bearish, even though MACD is improving. Momentum is below average, but it's also picking up. So that seems to be a little bit of mending on the part of CRISPR Therapeutics. Will I buy it right now? No, I don't think so. Allogene is flat in pre-market trades. Grail is up 0.71% in pre-market trades. There is resistance today at 89.86. Right now we are at 89.50. A lot of support is available starting 77.96, but for today I would peg the support at 86.88. PACB is up 2.17% in pre-market trade, and we have ARCG, which is up 0.31% in pre-market trade, and Vertex is down 0.48% in pre-market trade, and it has fallen below the support of 452.33. So I'm going to mark this as red, and we'd like to see where the candle forms for today, and if we can confirm this as a resistance, or if we're going to break out and go above this. So that's a big test for Vertex today. Market sentiment, which is bullish, has been dropping. MACD has become extremely bearish, and momentum is just a hair above average, but looking at pre-market action, there's a chance that momentum could also fall. And if we fall below this diagonal, then we start to look bearish for Vertex. I don't see why it should be, but that's where the chart is pointing us. We're not looking at fundamentals, just as technicals. Ginkgo Bioworks is up 1.49% in pre-market trade. We have resistance at 9.38. And then if you look at Precision has got no trades pre-market, but I'm looking at this more like a bullish pennant. Let me draw the pennant for you out here. So this is the bullish pennant with the support at the bottom. So for today, I think our support is going to be 4.15 and resistance is going to be 4.40. Pre-market, we are at 4.28. So when a bullish pennant breaks out, so let me pull this out here, all the way up here from here. Sorry. And let me mark the flag. This is the flagpole. So if we break out of this pennant, wherever we break out, I'll put this out there, and that will give us a target for where we're going to go with Precision. Precision is indeed looking good. Market sentiment is bullish and flat. MACD is also bullish, but tending towards the signal line. It has been consolidating for a while. It has been flat, and momentum is above average and moving up very gradually. So it's going to take its own time. The longer it takes, the better, because there'll be solid consolidation and the breakout will be much better. Eli Lilly is down 1.05% in pre-market trades. It's consolidating very heavily. I don't know what's happening out here. Market sentiment is bearish but flat. MACD is also bearish. Momentum is flat but above average. I don't have any predictions for Lilly. Then let's go on to look at Ultragenics, which is another stock that I'm following very closely. It's up 0.21% in pre-market trade. There's a huge gap down which needs to be filled up. So slowly and steadily it's starting to improve. Market sentiment is still very bearish. MACD, which was bearish, is starting to improve a little bit. Momentum, which had dropped way below average, way below 30%, is starting to improve and has gotten back above 30% once again. A very long and protracted recovery in store for rare. Now let's go on and have a look at currencies. Bitcoin is starting to look pretty good. It's broken out of this resistance out here. The resistance out here is at 91,816, which has been converted into a support for today. And the next resistance is going to be somewhere around 94,492.32. And I think this makes MSTR look pretty good. MSTR is starting to improve out here. I think the intrinsic value of MSTR is way more than its market cap at this point of time. So I'm thinking that it's a time to maybe take a very small stake in MSTR and ride the way up. It's going to be purely speculative, looking at just 4 or 5 days of trading window. And looking at Bitcoin, I think that the stars are starting to align, and we have not yet crossed 50% of this. Let us look at it in a new light. Let me say that we had a bear flag out here. Then this was the flag. This was the flagpole. This was the flag. And then we broke down from this flag. And we did not meet the full potential. We created another bear flag out here. This was the flag. And for this bear flag, we have a target out here, which was supposed to be down here. But instead, we kept going down, and we did not form a bear flag from this point onwards, because the entire flagpole has been recovered. So I would say that we are looking at a bullish channel for Bitcoin, and I'm comfortable getting a little bit into MSTR in a purely speculative position, watching very closely for a 1 day to 4 day time frame. If you guys have any feedback for me so that I don't, burn my fingers, please put that in the chat section. Otherwise, I'm done for the day, and I'm ready to move ahead and look forward to my breakfast. Guys, if you have anything, please let me know, or else we're done for the day. And Uttav, I think you generally look for team. Let me just do the team for you. Team, where is team sitting? Where have I put team? I think it's in the genomic side. Let's look at team. If you're not holding team, just let me know so that I don't bother about team. I can't see team here. Let me go into futures and see if there is team out there. No. Genomics, do I have team? No. AI, do I have team here? I don't see team. So I'm just going to add team out here. Once again, Uddhav, if you're not following team, just put it in the comment section. Team is up 0.53% after a drop. So my earlier thought was that we are probably going to have a reverse head and shoulder, and I had predicted that we would have a target of 183.73 morning inf. So 183.73, and we had a huge drop. There is a negative catalyst somewhere out here. I don't know what that catalyst is, but we have had a huge drop. I don't follow team on an ongoing basis. We can see market sentiment is going down a little bit. MACD has turned bearish and momentum has dropped below average. So team is starting to look a little bit bearish, and until we get any new bullish patterns, I think we have to put team on a watch pattern. So with that, my friends, I'd like to end this live stream, and I'll catch up with you again in the next one. Bye for now.